Hello everyone and Harry Potter fans, pay attention. Today I'm going to show you how to knit these Gryffindor socks super quickly and easily. I have taken a relief and a waffle pattern that I find very beautiful, using the classic Gryffindor stripes and colours. For this, I use the Superwash Mix Winter Uni and the Superwash Mix Uni yarn from Stark Wolle, along with a matching set of needles in size 2.5. As I said, this is really suitable for beginners as well. I used a cap stitch pattern, which is quite simple, and I especially find this waffle pattern, which is really knitted only with knit and purl stitches, to be very valuable and beautiful on the sock. I'll show you exactly how the sock works in just a moment, and I wish you a lot of fun knitting it. You start by casting on 60 stitches. So take enough thread on the side so that you don't run out. A cast on stitch works like this. You have a thread like this, poke it in, pull the back thread over the front one, then poke in here at the thumb, go back to the index finger, grab the thread, and now pull it through this loop here. So I've already cast on the first 2 of 60 stitches. I always use 2 needles because it allows you to knit a bit further at the beginning, and then it doesn't get so tight. It is especially suitable for beginners. We go back to the thread, with the thumb going in from the bottom through the loop of the 3rd stitch at the back. After you have cast on your 60 stitches, simply pull out 1 needle. Careful not to let the stitches slip off the needle. And then it starts with the envelope flap. The envelope cuff is very simple. Always knit alternating 2 knit stitches and 2 purl stitches. With 60 stitches, you actually have 15 stitches on each needle. However, I would recommend doing 2 sets of 16 and 2 sets of 14, as you would then always have to do right, right, left, left, and wouldn't need to switch under the needle. It means right. Cast on 2 knit stitches, insert the needle at the back, pull the yarn, and have the first knit stitch. Right stitch, we insert the needle again, pull the yarn from the back, and pull it through. Now 2 left stitches. A left stitch means we place the yarn in front of the needle, insert it behind the yarn, pull the yarn through, and then pull it through. Links, links, then 2 right stitches again. The first 4, right, right, left, left. Now cast on 14 stitches on the first needle. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14 also for later, so that you can recognize the difference between knit and purl stitches. I'll show you. They have the right stitches stretched out a bit here, and the left stitches have a little bobble on them, as you can see here. See what a left stitch is? These are 2 knit stitches. Here are the purl stitches. Alright, we simply change the thread, or rather the needle, and now we cast on 16 stitches onto the needle. Always alternate, twice to the right, twice to the left. This is a fairly elastic cuff, which makes it quite suitable for a fold-over cuff, so it doesn't become too tight and doesn't dig into the top. So, we have distributed our stitches onto the 4 needles. Now here's a little tip from me, especially for beginners. You can now simply do the first 2 stitches. First needle, be careful not to twist it. Knit with the 4th needle and then you'll have an easier transition. We knit the first 2 knit stitches, still with the 4th needle. Knit, knit, and thus we have connected our set of double pointed needles. How we get the pattern, so always 2 times to the right, 2 times to the left for the next 10 centimeters. At least I raise my envelope cuffs so high, which is of course always a matter of personal taste. But as I said, now about 10 centimeters, always 2 knit stitches and 2 purl stitches. When you're ready, I will show you how it continues. So, after the first 10 centimeters, you start with your waffle pattern. The waffle pattern is knitted over 4 rounds and is really quite simple, making it suitable for beginners as well. You knit the first round by simply knitting all the stitches. You know how to knit the right stitches. You have already knitted 10 centimeters now. So I would recommend starting the new round here, at our first stitch, because you'll be more familiar with it later on. The second round is also very simple. Now you knit all the stitches purlwise. You knit the third and fourth rounds very easily by alternating between a knit stitch and a purl stitch. Right, left, so similar to your cuff. So, as I said, alternating between right and left, we are now knitting the third and fourth rounds, which will create our waffle pattern. After that, we will repeat the whole process. We will essentially knit the 4 rounds of the waffle pattern twice, and then we will knit the first and second rounds again. After you have knitted your 2 height reports, I'll show you again how it works, and then we will meet again and take turns with the color. See you then. After you have knitted the waffle pattern twice, your work should look something like this. You can already see the waffle pattern quite nicely. Now we change the thread, which means we simply cut it off, leave a bit for sewing in, and take the new color. In yellow, we always knit 6 rounds in ribbing pattern. We are knitting a rib, which is super easy, and we will lay down the magic by alternating between knitting a knit stitch and a purl stitch. So as I said, alternate 1 stitch to the right, 1 stitch to the left. What are we going to do for 6 rounds now? After these 6 rounds, it's really simple, so I'll tell you right away how it continues. We will knit our waffle pattern once more, which means we repeat the first to the 4th round. I'll quickly show it to you again for reference, and then we do the first and second rounds again. So that's another 6 rounds of waffle pattern. Rounds, we switch from the red color back to the yellow color and knit 6 rounds of our ribbing again. When you're ready, we'll see each other again. As I said, to write it down again, we will knit 6 rounds in a rib pattern, alternating 1 stitch knit and 1 purl in yellow. Then we will knit our waffle pattern in red once and repeat the first and second rounds again to have a nice finish here. After that, we will knit another 6 rounds in a rib pattern in yellow. Have fun until then. Good. Your work should now look like this. Now we switch the thread again, which means we continue knitting with the red yarn, and you can also let the other thread run along if you don't want to weave in too much. I would recommend that you simply place the ball of yarn that you don't need on the right side, so you can knit calmly with the left yarn. The next round will be very simple. We will knit all the stitches on the right. Here, pull the yellow thread again and almost tighten it. It stays beautifully even. The next round will be really simple. We'll just knit all the stitches purlwise and then the color will be changed anyway. Good, as I said, the round to the left. In the next rounds, we will do it very simply, as you just repeat this pattern exactly once more. After the round you knit on the left, you switch colors again and knit 6 rounds in a rib pattern, then 6 rounds in our waffle pattern, again 6 rounds in the rib pattern, and after that, I'll show you how it continues. Good. A little update on the socks. They should look like this by now, and you can clearly see the transitions from the waffle pattern to our ribbing. Beautifully alternating and in the typical Gryffindor colors. The next rows will be quite simple as well, and we are now working with the red color again, knitting our waffle pattern twice. It means twice the front row, only right, then only left, then twice right and left in alternation for 2 rounds, and we will repeat the whole thing again, ending with repeating the first and second rounds. This means we are now doing exactly the same thing at the end of our sheep as we did at the beginning, simply repeating the waffle pattern twice, and finishing off nicely with one round to the right and one round to the left. After that, your shaft will be finished, and I will show you in the next video how to knit the heel. See you then.